Hello. So today I want to talk about coaching, relationship coaching, in fact. Um, as you may or may not know, if you've listened to the show for a while, I am a relationship coach. And I was talking to someone the other day about relationship coaching and was it right for them? Well, in a nutshell, I would say yes. Relationship coaching is right for you, but you need to find the right type of coach and understand what it is you'd actually like to gain from relationship coaching itself. There are various approaches to look at, and people will be carrying their own problems, issues, and things that they need to resolve if they're going to speak to a coach. Now, you might be looking at something like a dating coach rather than a relationship coach. So, if you are looking to date and get into the dating scene, then you might want to look at improving how you feel about dating, how you can date who you want to be when you're dating, etc. And then maybe a dating coach might be the good option for you. That might not also be the case because there are some dating coaches that just follow a formula for everybody, and that formula might not be right for you, and that can be said of any type of coaching at all. One thing I would definitely look for is someone who has some kind of qualifications as in coaching too. I don't believe that that is 100% necessary all of the time, because there are certain people who have done certain things in their lives, and what they then want to coach you on can help you to achieve similar outcomes to the ones that they may have got for themselves. But I would suggest that that wouldn't be relationship coaching. I would suggest that might be some kind of formula to make money or to do sell certain things or whatever that might be, because when it comes to some kind of structure, I think you could probably follow that and get some good results. When it comes to relationship coaching, however, I think there needs to be someone who's had some kind of coaching training, because there will be things that come up during the process of coaching that they will then have learnt to manage, to deal with, and be able to help you to move in the right direction when these things come up. It has come to my attention on several occasions when I've been working with people that they have spoken to coaches before, especially in the relationship field. And unfortunately, as relationships are very emotive and they're very personal, things have come up for these people, and the coach has had no idea how to deal with what's come up. In fact, in some cases, they've gone, I don't really know how to deal with this. You need to go to speak to somebody else, in not a very polite way, but in a very professional way. I'd say that would be the right thing to do. That if you don't feel like you are qualified to help someone in the right area, that you would pass them on to someone who could. Unfortunately, again, in these cases, they have just let them go and sort themselves out. They've had no connections, no referral process, and therefore this person has been left with nowhere to go and lots of baggage that's been unpacked but is pretty messy lying all over the floor. I think that's where the benefit of not only a trained coach comes in, but maybe someone that has some kind of therapeutic background as well. I work in a very kind of holistic way when it comes to relationships, because my background is as a therapist. I can help you to look at all sort of areas that come up within your relationships, how that's impacting on you, and deal with anything that might come up in the process. I'm not saying that every relationship coach would need to do that. Again, it would depend on what you are looking at and what you're trying to get from that person. But a qualified coach will be able to use their training to be able to help you to move forwards. In coaching, they do say that a coach, coaching is the art of asking great questions. And so someone that has a structure to their courses, or what they're trying to put across to you, may not have that skill. So they might tell you what to do, advise you what to do, send you down this is what I did type of route, but not really be able to ask you what it is that you need, what it is that you want, or even notice that the things that they're doing aren't working and understand the reasons why they aren't working. In some cases that will be down to you because you are not putting in the sort of time, you're not doing the self kind of understanding, the self-awareness, you're not doing the things that maybe the coach is asking you to do. But there also may be the occasions where the coach just isn't able to shift from their space in order to sort of tailor what you need to your own personal circumstances. Now, I do run and have some online courses which you can do for yourself, but I also have the option for you to work alongside me on a one-to-one basis if those online courses are not getting you the results that you're looking for, or maybe they open things up for you that need further exploration and understanding. So if you're buying like an online coaching course, that's great, but make sure that it's going to take you in the right direction and there is some kind of support for you there if necessary, for things that might come up that you might not completely understand, might trigger something inside of you that you need to work through, or maybe just really doesn't trigger, doesn't kind of fit with actually what it is that you're looking for. So if you're looking for a relationship coach, as I said, I would definitely look for someone who's also got some maybe experience of relationships too. I was talking to someone the other day, and they came to see me because they were having relationship issues with somebody, and that somebody was actually seeing a relationship coach who was 21. And I'm not saying that a 21-year-old won't be able to help you, but they had no real relationship experience and weren't qualified, as far as this other person was aware. But this their partner was actually listening to what this person had to say, and what they had to say was very formulaic type advice, perhaps that they picked up from some online training course, or maybe just research relationship themselves and were just throwing these one-liners in and hoping that they would stick. As I said, relationship coaching can be very emotive. There are complexities to relationships that we experience or we don't experience. So again, if you're looking for a relationship coach that's going to help you, then it's maybe better if you find someone who's had similar experiences to you. When I get inquiries from clients, on a lot of occasions it's because maybe they've seen my About Me video on my website, and they've read my bio, or they've heard me on another podcast, or whatever it might be, and there is a connection there. They see that I have lived some of their experience, and so therefore I am able to look at their situation from somebody that's been through something very similar. And again, that's not always necessary, and that may not always be helpful. When I was training as a therapist, one thing that I was taught to do immediately when I started working with clients was to leave my stuff out the door. And that can be quite hard to do on occasion, especially when there are stories that are so closely linked, or emotions and thoughts that are so closely linked to your own. But again, with someone who's had the right amount of training and experience in this space, hopefully at least the majority of the time they're going to recognize that this isn't about them, that even if they're triggered or something comes up they may find familiar for themselves, they're still able to stay in your space and help you to work through the things you need to work through to get the outcomes that you're looking for. And again, if someone hasn't had that type of training, then it's going to be quite difficult for them to suspend their own stuff and be able to step into your space to be able to help you to do that. And as I said earlier on, if they have not got the qualifications, they're not necessarily going to know the best way to deal with the things that you're bringing to the sessions that they don't have any answers for. And therefore, the art of great coaching, of asking great questions, is not something that they're going to be able to do, because they're going to feel a bit lost and over their heads. And like I said, what's happened to some of my clients in the past, they're just going to say, this is something I can't deal with, you need to go and find someone else who can help you. There's something in one of my coaching programs that I talk about, and that's resistance. Now, it's all well and good having the best of intentions to change your life and find the right relationship for yourself. But if you are not in the right space to be able to do that, again, the right kind of coach will be able to help you to see where your resistances are and help you to work around those and put things in place to help you overcome those, so that you can continue to move forward with the things that you want in your life. Again, it depends on what it is you're trying to achieve and how deeply set your ideas might be, your emotions might be, your beliefs are, that may stop you from overcoming the resistances that come up for you. And again, it will be useful if someone has had a lived experience where they're able to overcome certain things for themselves. But if not, at least they have learned how to use techniques in order for you to be able to do that. There are, as I mentioned, a variety of different relationship coaches that will help you look at different areas of your relationships depending on what it is that you want to achieve. My personal approach is to help people to create and attract healthy, loving relationships, more on a personal level, so that would be intimate relationships. But the work that I do encompasses all types of relationships. So you might come to see me, for instance, with I want to attract this ideal partner into my life, and that is definitely something that we will look at doing together, and that will be the main aim of your coaching sessions. But what also might come up is the difficulties that you have with your family relationships or your work relationships, or maybe something that goes on with your friends. And in that case, we can look for patterns, and we can look to resolve these immediate things that will help you right now, as well as look into the future as to bring the right types of relationships towards you. And that could also be that you're struggling in your own intimate relationships at the moment. That's something that I first started to do when I moved into the relationship coaching in 2016, was to help people that were already in relationships they were finding a struggle. And that could be for a variety of reasons. Could be abusive relationships, narcissistic relationships. Could be just basically that you keep finding the same types of people and you're unhappy in those spaces. But I would be working with people to help them to manage those situations in a much healthier space, set boundaries, think about themselves, what they need, and how they can make those relationships either better, or if they needed to walk away. One of the reasons why I shifted away from that space a little bit was because I thought, well, isn't it going to be better if someone can avoid getting into those situations altogether? So although I do still work with people in that space, I also now really focus on helping people to avoid getting into difficult relationships in the first place, and if they do find themselves in these relationship spaces again, that they are able to see the signs very quickly and not follow maybe the same route that they would have before and hung in there and see how it all turned out, but know for themselves it's not the right space for them to be in, and move forward. So whatever it is that you're looking for in your life as far as relationships is concerned, definitely do search around, speak to a few different coaches. Most of them will offer you some kind of complimentary introductory call where you can see if you're a good fit, if the things that you want to try and achieve are things they can help you with. And sometimes, I guess, in coaching we also go to a coach because we don't know what we're trying to achieve. Sometimes you might go because you just have no clarity of where you're going, and a coach will be able to help you to do that, to clarify what it is that you really want, maybe find some kind of purpose, understand the kind of relationship you want to be in, or even just resolve the issues that you aren't aware of what's going on. As I say, if you want to get some help, then there are a variety of people out there that can help you, but I would definitely recommend that you, because this is, as I've said, on podcasts before, blogs before, relationships are your key to living a happy and fulfilled life. The quality of your relationships are directly correlated to the amount of fulfillment and happiness that you experience in your life. We are born to connect, and also therefore connection, however that might be, will affect us in many different ways. And I think that finding someone that has a good understanding of all of the complexities that come with human behaviour and all the things that could be impacting on the underlying issues you could be struggling with in relationships will definitely be a bonus for you to move forward and help you to figure out where you're going in your life and making the connections that are going to be the most fulfilling for you. On the subject of working with someone who maybe isn't qualified, doesn't have the necessary experience that you want or need, I went to a training seminar once, and this is where I kind of said at the beginning that some people will be able to help you just through their knowledge and some people won't. The person that was running the course said it doesn't really matter whether you're right or wrong with what you know. If you believe enough in what you're saying, then you're right. And that's something I think is quite dangerous, especially in the relationship kind of coaching field, because that means I'm not actually taking into consideration what's right for you. When I'm with my clients, I can use my experience, I can use my knowledge to make a very educated guess on what they're going through and what might be able to help them to move forward. If I am blinkered in my approach as far as just sticking to what I believe to be right is right, then that might not be right for you, and I may take you down a road that is not going to serve you properly and help you to get where you want to get to. So again, I would be very mindful when I am looking for someone to work with that I speak to them about what they do, how they do it and why they do it. Again, my purpose for relationship coaching is because of my own personal experiences. So the difference that I was able to make to my own life by changing the relationships in around me, but actually not only that, but changing the relationship that I had with myself. If you don't have a healthy relationship with you, then it's going to be quite difficult for you to have that many healthy relationships in your life, unless you've got some really good people around you, and that you accept those really good people around you. But your day-to-day relationship with you is the most significant relationship that you'll have, because it will impact on all your other relationships and almost certainly dictate the kind of people that you have in your life. And secondly, my work experience. So when I was a therapist, I worked with, over the last, how many years has it been? 16 years. I've probably worked with thousands of clients, and the most common issue that came up was relationships. It didn't matter what the problem was that they were going through. Relationships would be significant. So it could be what they went through as children. It could be the early kind of intimate or friendship type relationships that they had in their lives, and it could be what's going on in their lives right now as far as their relationships were concerned. But there will, almost certainly be, if not all of the time, I'd say 95% of the time, someone would have something around relationships that needed to be addressed that would help them to feel better. And that's why I became a relationship coach, because of the significance of them to your overall well-being and the commonality of the problems that relationships can bring. So, if you want to get the relationships in your life into the space that they can be, there are many different obstacles that need to be overcome in some cases, or there may just be some simple steps that you need to take to move forward and create, or just alter maybe ever so slightly the things that you're not happy with. And finding the right person to be able to help you to do that is key moving forwards. But ultimately, a coach is there to help you along the way and to ask those great questions, but to hold you accountable for the changes that you need to make in order to get to the space you want to get to. Unfortunately, I guess, and ultimately, therefore, the results that you get will all be down to you, and owning that is going to be very important for you moving forwards. With the help of a good coach, they will make it easier for you to do just that. The reason I made this episode today is because I realized that this week the Relationship Guide podcast is now 2 years old, and I hadn't spoken about relationship coaching, what it is, etc., and how you can get help, what help you might need in those 2 years. So here we are today talking about relationship coaching, because I thought it was about time. If you want any help on your relationships, then please do visit the www.johnkennycoaching.com website. There are plenty of things on there to get you started on your journey into healthier relationships, whether you want coaching or you just want to work through things yourself. There's a few freebies on there. There's some workshops for you to watch. So please do visit the website and see what resources you can get your hands on. And if you want to book in and have a chat about your own personal circumstances, please do. As I mentioned, a lot of coaches will give you a complimentary session in order to talk through what those are, and I do the same. So please do reach out. Just go to the website www.johnkennycoaching.com, fill out the contact box, or you can just drop me an email to john@johnkennycoaching.com, or give us a call. The phone number's on the website too, and I look forward to speaking to you again on the next episode of the Relationship Guide podcast.